What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. Sunday morning video. Bob Arum. Absolutely clowns. Yet tells the truth about Eddie Hearn, who he calls Clueless in America. Something I've said and observed for a while now, but just to hear it out of Bob Arum's mouth, who, without a doubt, knows promotion in the United States. As one of it's probably, the two top promoters over the last 50 years in the United States, half a century at least in the business. To have him say this about Eddie Hearn validates what I've thought about Eddie Hearn and what I've said on this channel with Eddie Hearn for a while. But since I'm not a promoter, certain Eddie Hearn fans always feel like they can point out that, I've not sold out an event in the United States as a promoter. And my response usually is, neither is he. But Bob Arum has, so let's go over what Bob Arum's assessment of the performance of Eddie Hearn in Matchroom Boxing USA has been. But before I do that, I want to welcome you back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please accept my invitation. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release the more videos. Also, share the video, like, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon, check out the live streams we do Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to 10:45 Central Standard Time. That's the start time. Kind of moves a little bit depending on what's going on with Trio Boxing Talk before us. But let's get into this, man. This is, of course, an article out of World Boxing News, so let me give them their credit. This is what he has to say. Eddie Hearn is an okay guy, but he's too full of himself to really be effective. DAZN has him doing events in the US. Everybody looking at it knows it's a mash. He's spending money on these ridiculous programs on DAZN that nobody cares about. He's spending more money on these shows than Heyman is on PBC, or even what we're doing on ESPN. The difference is we both understand the US market, which Hearn doesn't. DAZN itself would be much better advised having fights other than Canelo, which will get a lot of attention. They would be much better off DAZN turning over their domestic programming in the US to Oscar's Golden Boy. At least Oscar knows the market, particularly the Hispanic market. Eddie doesn't have a clue. For example, he did a fight in Philadelphia on a Friday night. There wasn't much attendance. One of the reasons is they sold all of the tickets out of the UK when the fight was in Philadelphia. This type of activity shows that it couldn't work when the Revolutionary War was fought with George Washington fighting the Brits. You don't run a promotion in the US from the UK and have all the tickets come out of the UK. It makes no sense. It wouldn't make sense if we did a fight with Frank Warren in the UK and controlled everything from the US. He could learn it. Then they talk about his ego. And about his ego, he says Eddie, can learn a thing or two from a lot of people, including his father. But if you're going to be so full of yourself and spend all your time as he does making video shots of himself giving interviews and saying outlandish things, he's not going to be effective. Barry was a terrific promoter. He always knew enough to be behind the scenes, not to be this spokesperson for Eddie's ego and agenda. Man, that is the truth, Ruth. That is the truth. You are not from the but this is the thing that should have been known from the beginning, and that's why I don't understand DAZN. Why would you ever bring in a UK promoter to start and recruit fighters and plan fights in the United States? It's mind-boggling to me. And whenever I listen to Eddie Hearn, I get that Eddie Hearn doesn't understand what's going on. Now, you might say, and people have said, well, Fanon, you're not a promoter. What do you know about that? I've been an American citizen for a very, very long time, man, and I know how America is broken up. It is a gigantic place. And you have a lot of different local networks. I understand the history of promoting. It's only recent that promoters were even able to be national. National promotion really kicked off. I know that there was Tex Rickard back in the what was it, Jack Dempsey's, like the 1910, 1920 through into the 1930. But between that time, there was a lot of local promotions going on. A lot of local promoters, a lot of people who had good relationships with the venues, the local venues that had good connections with the local fight fans in a particular area. And they would know how to get the message out about a fight in a local area to get tickets sold to a fight in a local area. Then, negotiate with a national radio show or the national radio program to get the fight aired on the radio. But in large part, man, it was local promotions in the United States. Something I don't think that people really understand, especially in the UK, is that, and although we say it all the time, the United States is huge. It is about the size of Europe. And by Europe, I mean that the US is only about 200,000 square miles less in size than Europe. I think Europe is like 10 million square miles. And the US is like almost 900,000 square miles, or not, 9 million. So that's wrong. Europe is 10 million square miles and the United States is like 9.8 million square miles. So that's only like 1.2 million square miles difference between the two of them. That's like saying that Eddie Hearn is going to be able to promote everywhere in Europe, right? It just doesn't make, and you're not even from there. It just doesn't make sense, man. The big markets in the United States are New York, LA, Vegas, Dallas. And it just doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. But that whole ego thing, constantly giving interviews, constantly saying outlandish things, man, giving people a reason not to want your card to succeed because of you. I mean, that's the unique thing that Eddie Hearn has brought that I haven't seen. I've seen a little bit, but not a lot. Like, there's a lot of people that didn't like Don King. And there's a lot of people that didn't like Bob Arum. But the distaste for Bob Arum and the distaste for Don King wasn't so big that you wouldn't be willing to watch their fight cards and you're hoping that they'll fail. They never riled each other up to the point, and I'm talking about promoters feeling that way. They never riled each other up to the point where they were just really, really go out of their way to try to shut each other down. And I'm telling you, man, the one guy that Eddie Hearn tried to come out and challenge initially was Al Heyman. Talked about how Al Heyman's business model didn't make sense, how, he was going to sign away these fighters and all that. And man, what is happening now is that he's finding himself getting assaulted from a front that he probably didn't expect, and that's Bob Arum, right? Bob Arum is a wily dude, man. And, but DAZN probably would be better off with giving that money to Oscar De La Hoya, provided Oscar De La Hoya had some good day-to-day management. Him, main events. God, what is it? Some of the smaller promoters, right? Oscar De La Hoya, main events, and Kathy Duva, working with some of the promoters that promote with the PBC, like Lou DiBella. U.S. local promoters that understand the market and know how to develop relationships and not piss people off so bad that they don't even want to watch your fights, man. So, yeah, I just wanted to say this because I did a video the day before last where I was like, man, what is he doing with this fight card with Alexander Usyk and Carlos Takam in Chicago? That makes no sense. Like, why would you invest money in that? Who's going to go to that? I mean, I'm sure there'll be some people in there, but man, that shit's going to be an echo chamber up in there. First of all, Chicago's not that big a boxing town to begin with. And if you were going to have somebody over there, man, dude, did you put Thomas Adamek on it? Or Anthony Greer? somebody from Chicago that might get some local people, some local churches, some local people excited enough to come into the fight? I don't know, man. But anyway, I'm kind of with Bob Arum on this, man. I think Eddie Hearn coming off real clueless. Anyway, it is what it is, and with that, I'm out. Peace.